Hey guys, my name's Carl. And today I'm playing more Tiny Bunny. We're back where we left off after the wolf boy ate me in my sleep. So, apparently that was a dream that I woke up from with a really cool looking animation. I didn't know that this game would have animation in it. I'm hoping that I'll be able to have it run better. I mean, I have the frame. Why my frames just drop? Oh, well, I hope that this will sound better. It's work better. I hope that you stayed around for the last video. If you guys didn't show any support, then this video would not be up. So, if you guys didn't want to see, I asked you in the last video if you wanted to see more of this, and if you did, then at least one of you had to say it for me to do more of this. So one of you did, and now I'm playing it. I'd like to personally thank whoever did that, since I'm recording this at the exact same time I recorded the first video. So I have no clue how the first video went. Yay. It's just like making things in case somebody likes it, and then putting it away if nobody does. So we're back at this. Hopefully you guys remember what happened. I'll go back one. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. And then the wolf came and ate me, and then I woke up. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. I'll try and make the videos shorter as well, since the last one was like way too long. Who could be visiting here in the middle of visiting his ox here? In the middle of nowhere. We don't know anyone around here. Dingy, 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 dingy. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from a silly thought that our morning's guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. I'm dying. Behind the curtains where Olia always hides. Tony, come here. Anton, is that supposed to be like my nickname? Since my name's Anton, Tawny? Is it pronounced Tawny? I felt my kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. Police! A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer who wore a grim expression nodded. A boy has gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held a photograph out to me. Yeah, animation. This is cool. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window? That's right, your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. Oh, those a-holes. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, they stared long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. They have a cross above their door, too. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything's alright. Thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy about your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossing in reading in those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted me to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? 6th. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet, I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, well, I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, a smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? What does that mean? His parents. And what would my parents do if I'd oh, the kid's parents. Okay. If I'd gone missing. Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window, at the road. A police UAZ drove off towards the village. Why is that highlighted? You guys can see my mouse. Why is this word underlined? Is it important? UAZ. What was the other word that was highlighted beforehand? Oh, what was it? I don't remember what the other one was highlighted as. A police officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off the old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty. See, that one's underlined too. Why is this so weird? Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls invested in all sorts of mysteries here. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. And after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any completed case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footsteps that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my... Oh, you're an idiot. Maybe I'll find that lost boy and I'll get a reward. Ole will be so happy. Not only Ole, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their corals for a while. Maybe I'll even say this from the D word. Poor kid, man. I fantasized about buying Ole a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player for a bunch of tapes for myself. A whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. That's when there's that annoying song about it. What's with these underlined words? I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets. And Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Alia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if a boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. That does not sound like water. That sounds like the cry of a little kid. I don't know a joke to... That is not water. I couldn't think of a joke to come up with. But that does not sound like water. That does not sound like water. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Ooh. Across the street, so many people come and go in this house. Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place for as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross sharpener corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered us to Order the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. Oh no! Oh god! What's this? A dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates it when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself when friends she start next. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living in there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count and decide 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. What's in here? Oh. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now all I see is meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. I guess the front door is the only way to go. I swear, if I'm supposed to be writing down those underlined words, I'm not gonna do that. My brain doesn't work that way. Anton, I'll whip you if you make a single step outside that door. Emirkhan, Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving towards the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. What language is that? The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings. Mom's recipes and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olia liked so much. Among that still-alive picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of a police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's writing. Oh, that's the, police note. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and this piece has just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it could wait for its time when I finally found Volvan, the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton? Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angry my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Ah, you're killing me here, so I had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now. Told you the keen scope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine this morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on the apron and went to Olia's room. Oh my god! Oh, I'm a horrible kid! I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears and saw the silhouettes around here. They were jumping around holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me. And barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest Penny Stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone listening to them. But then always came to the ringing silence. Apartment became numb a couple days before we departed. Out or hour? I think it's supposed to be hour. Probably a typo or something. Whoa, they made a typo? Wow. It's hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around laughing or spent time together. Almost like it was all in a previous life. When they kissed with only a present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings trying to save themselves, and us. From who, though? From the people with dead, cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms in the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away these delusions, and looked around. Trying to check the back of the screen in case anything decides to pop out into my view. I'll beat him up! Just you, me and you! Come on! And only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and pelts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding something. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. There's a thing here. I want it. Were they protecting the forest, or were they keeping something from breaking out? Also, there's footprints down here, and I don't like that. Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in the snow, but when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? A senior officer who looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of the Captain Canova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will the smitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout, like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. I don't see anything. Its stillness, how is it bent unnaturally towards the ground? Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze up to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any whisper from the small thicket, from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Let's take it! Don't kill me. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Never mind. Vova. I decide not to. Turn. Turn. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance, though echo no hope for reply. Turn and run, you idiotic kid! I stepped towards the brisk trees and tried to claim my feet and find. It didn't budge. Run! Run! I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in the hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it out without thinking it. Something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny stream between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Blood? I froze in place, studying my hip palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. Oh, it's blood. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged to the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had been coming from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air, then sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. And the dried up raspberry bush from the twisted pines and under the windfall. Hurry, run. Don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became a vicious like quicksand. I was stuck in one place. I pulled my length from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That the house was the line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door, and all in my hurry I managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with his paws, demanding to be lit in so it could escape the cold. It was from last night! Geek, I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard? Mom had locked the door. Drowning in fear, I pulled the doorknob and obediently gave way. That's me right now. That breathing, that's not actually me, but that's like me metaphorically. That's me. I'm scared, okay? That was horrible. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Something's outside. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and it crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door and the smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was with very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel, her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did he snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me, I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started to explain myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant. She covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear I heard something scratch at the door just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow with the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of stray dogs with no name and owner. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me like a bunny. And what if they were rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it were her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? Mom, I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed a gaze on the cobweb-written corner. Whoops, some detective I am. You have blood on your hands. How is this not noticed yet? Nobody notices the blood that it's literally on your hands after you took that mitten. I'm saving. Oh, don't worry. I do have a save before that decision. Okay. No, I'd have to replay from there if I wanted to redo this decision. Okay. Save. I have to end this video here. How come these video episodes always take so long? It feels like it's going faster than it is. Dang. Well, then again, it's like a lot of talking, which like stops it from like being a while. So, dang, time flies when you talk a lot. But Jesus Christ, this game is scary. I mean, like with earbuds and crap. I mean, it's not like the jump scare like things from like Joy of Creation and it's not like the it's not like the jump scares from Joy of Creation or Blink Dream and stuff like that. And it's not really of like the psychological type from other games like I'm Scared and stuff like that. It's like a suspense instead. It's like a suspenseful horror. So oh shoot! No! I just want to go to the main menu. Okay. Jesus, I almost closed out the game. Tiny bunny. We still have yet to see a bunny, actually. We've seen a wolf. He was the guy that ate me and ran up to the window in the first episode. When does the bunny come into play? But so far, this is a fun game. This is free, by the way. This is free on Steam. Anybody can play this. It's not too big of a game. It doesn't require that much to play it either. Just like, it's really fun. So, I recommend you check it out, 100%. But not until you're done with watching me, because like, that'd get rid of the whole reason why I'm here. So, if you have Steam, be sure to check it out after this whole series, you know. But, if you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe, or just show that you liked it in the comments. Give me suggestions for games. If it's a free game, I'll most certainly be able to play it. And and if you give a game suggestion, I'll be sure to mention you in the video for giving that. And I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.